Okay, so this is the Ibanez Pro Rocker Bridge, and if anyone has had the unfortunate experience of owning a guitar equipped with one of these, chances are you are aware of these things' fatal flaw, where the saddle's attached to the bridge is extremely high stress point, which almost inevitably ends up breaking off these little attachment pieces, as you can see here. This one I've removed because I was trying to figure out if replacements were available, and yeah, there's pretty much no chance of that unless you find one on eBay for undoubtedly far more than I want to pay. So since most people who end up having to deal with this issue try to find a way to retrofit it with another kind of bridge, which usually doesn't work out because of the way that they decided to design this thing. These points are wider than a Floyd Rose bridge, and I'm not exactly sure what Kaler's dimensions are, but apparently that is slightly easier to work with, but still not great. So what I'm going to try to do is to simply repurpose this, not exactly fix, but I have the smallest flat mount bridge that you can possibly find. I think the dimensions are 6.5 centimeters wide and 4, something like that. Anyway, so coincidentally, this piece fits in almost perfectly. Unfortunately, right at the edge, there's kind of a lip. So what I'm going to attempt to do is grind off just the front of this so that that sits in there flush, and stick that down with some JB Weld, and that might be it. You can see the holes where you put the strings are pretty much accessible once I remove these screws. So I think that will work. So we'll find out. Alright, so now this piece has been ground down, and it pretty much fits in here. However, sadly, it's not quite flush, even with that removed. On this piece, you can maybe see, maybe not on the camera, I'm not sure, but there's a slight, it's slightly concave in here, so these pieces in the middle may not make perfect contact with the bottom surface, but I think that it's close enough that it will work. And I'm not sure if that is possibly a defect with this particular bridge that I have, or if that's going to be on all of them, but that's what we're dealing with at the moment. So as I was roughing up this backside, getting it ready to be glued, and noticed that the edges were getting filed and the center wasn't. You can still kind of see how that patch is not as rough as the rest of it. So I think actually this piece was the culprit, which makes far more sense because it's very cheap. Some kind of, I don't know, made in China, cheap metals, cheap production, whatever. So I continued sanding that down to where now, I don't know if this will show up very well, but it seems very nearly flush with all of the contact points. So I think it's going to be close enough. So what you're seeing in the red circle is a burr that was sticking out that I had to file down in order for the bridge to sit in there right, and that was kind of a pain, so it's something to watch out for if you're doing this yourself. Next few shots are just how I prepared the bridge for the epoxy. Used some wax paper and C-clamps. When I finished, I did end up running the strings through the original bridge where the saddle screws went, and I feel like that just ensures that there's no forward pressure against the glue. Not that I think it would break. Alright, well, I have to say I am very pleased with the final product. The best part for me was the fact that you don't actually lose the functionality of this particular tremolo. The Ibanez Pro Rocker is, without question, an over-engineered mess, but it does have the smoothest action of just about any tremolo I've ever used. So, okay, well that about sums it up. Thank you for watching, and I will leave links in the description for the bridge and the epoxy that I used. See you next time.